All right. And we're back once again with Hunter x Hunter chapter 414. It is my pleasure to say that we are back again for what is this, the fourth straight week of Hunter x Hunter being available, new chapter for us to enjoy together as a community, as a family that have all been waiting for this fire to come back, and it has not been disappointing so far. All right, with that being said, I think we should just get right into the chapter, shouldn't we? Yes, we should. Okay, so here we are, Hunter x Hunter, chapter 414. Let's get it, baby. So, I don't know if we're going from where we left off. It does not seem like it. Chapter 414, Allies. Suspicious moments inside the residence of Lucerus, the Seventh Prince. Okay, we got people, guards, I'm assuming, sleeping. And we got this. Oh man, I always hated the way this guy's face looked. We got my man creeping, one of Benjamin's boys. I'm pretty sure anyway. And he got the hand. He's putting the hand over the mouth and just right under the chin. This is a trained killer right here. And he just one shot him. Is that what just happened? Oh, this is it. This is the feeling. My blood boils and my whole body burns with excitement. This is the guy that you don't want to, you got to keep an eye on this guy right here, because one of these people exists in your actual life and you just don't know it. Oh my god! So he cutting the fingers off. No, he put the pillow over the face. Bang! Stab right through that, John. And then he's saying martial law, martial law. So, okay, so is this after Benjamin kind of gave them their marching orders? Yes, it is. So, obviously, this is after the last chapter where, sorry, because they've been bouncing back and forth, forward in time, back in time. So, I had to make sure to see where we're at. Benjamin in the last chapter pretty much ordered them to make their way across and start wiping out some of these guards. So, we're kind of seeing just how skilled his royal army kind of is. And yeah, don't get caught slipping, clearly. Let's keep it going. Martial law, martial law. 5 minutes left until it's declared. Come on, hurry up and be declared martial law. This guy, he's fiending to get going, yo. I will kill anyone who dares oppose me. But you see, you're not paying attention. As I thought, fighting suits my nature much better than exhausting thinking and complex planning. Well, that's a recipe for disaster when it comes to freaking Hunter x Hunter. You don't want to brute force stuff at all in this manga. And then we got a nice long shot of the hallway with 2 guards standing outside, watch outside the store. There are movements among the personal guards of the first Prince Benjamin. People are noticing. Look, Roy, I think his name is. And someone's walking down. Is that it looks like Rolo from a distance, but it's just a smudge from a distance, realistically. I'm Rice. I'm coming. I'm coming in. Pause. The prince is asleep right now. Tell me what you have, Basho says. I'm awake. Bring me some water. I'm feeling thirsty. So this is right before martial law is declared, I'm pretty sure. And I know that in the last batch of chapters, when we first heard about martial law happening, Lucerus was kind of just like missing in action. So maybe we're about to see the perspective of each person leading up to martial law. And then we're going to be back to where we were at the end of the last batch of chapters and take it from there, which would be pretty cool. I can't lie. I don't remember if this is also the same time that Melody's group was going to try and do something with him. But I guess we'll have to see it because the timeline and whatnot. Let's keep going. He said to give him some water. He's thirsty. 2 soldiers from the first prince's private guard who possess autonomous abilities are standing in front of room 1009. It seems like something is going on inside the late 9th prince's room. That's Hulkenberg, if you don't remember. And Basho's confused, or he's thinking about it, and Lucerus is just like, huh? Okay, I'm liking the fit. So it has finally begun, he says. What has begun? Special martial law. You see, my man already knew what was coming. He already knew what was coming. I've always been saying that people been sleeping on the Seventh Prince because the one little panel that we got that kind of gave us a glimpse of what his Nen Beast was ability would be, it pretty much kind of implied that he's the type of guy that's gonna be low key, but he's watching all the people around him. And at the last moment when you think that, or your guard has dropped, that's when he, does what he does. And to be that type of person, you got to be like a calculating person and analyzing person, which he is. So I'm not surprised that he's going to be knowing about stuff. So it has finally begun. What has begun? Special martial law. Do they want to frame the Ninth Prince's death as an act of terrorism? Or are they going to claim that the Ninth Prince was the mastermind behind the terrorist operation? And everybody just looking confused. Relay a strict order to all members of the private guard. None of them are to resist, my bad. No matter what happens, have them gather their weapons and keep them within reach. See, he already knows what's coming for him. Once the order is issued, they will shoot without hesitation. Yo, he's 10 steps ahead. I like it. Okay, and then he tells the one guy to come over. Hold off the first prince's royal guards for a bit. They won't dare harm members of the Hunters Association, so make up any excuse. I think they are currently asleep. If there was any movement outside before the order was issued, we would have received a radio report a long time ago. Hurry up. Don't let them leave the break room. Losers on top of it, yo. An order to everyone. Dispose of all the medicine in the prince's ward. Put them in a pot and burn them immediately. As fast as possible. Rice, come with me for a moment. I'm curious to see the third prince's perspective because he's one of the princes that's pretty much gone missing at the end of the last batch of chapters, right when martial law was really first declared, just like Loser is. So I want to see if he's going to be commanding the room in the same way because he also has the mafia connections similar to how Loserus does. I'm just going to be curious how each prince's like approaches. Rice, come with me for a moment. Didn't we already settle the medicine issue with the Ministry of Justice? Basho says. Once the special martial law is declared, the military will take full control. Any illegal act will cause real trouble for us. If power falls into the hands of the military, they can turn white into black whenever they want, right? That's why there's no point in doing something like this. It's the prince's order. Stop grumbling and do it. And that's the thing. People that are in the Hunters Association, they usually are more like individuals, Whereas all these people that came up in the Kakin Empire, they're just have a foot soldier mindset for the most part. And sometimes it's about them getting themselves higher in those ranks. But people in the Hunters Association are just such individuals that they're kind of always going to be questioning things like that. Yep. They walk down the hallway, open the door, and it's my man from earlier who killed the guy that was clearly putting the hand up behind his head. Why did you kill him? Oh, and now the Ren popping. Why did you kill him? Huh? That was self-defense. He attacked me first. I'll be pissed because it's like, why are you even in here? Drop your weapon and explain to us what happened here. This matter might call for a judicial investigation. I don't mind throwing down my weapon at all, but something in Arabic. And who exactly is going to investigate whom? And he just gives him the dead eye. And now they both stare and they got to stare in a contest. All right, we're outside room 1009. That was Hulkenberg's room. No response. If there is someone inside, this constitutes a rebellion against the Royal Army. The purging operation under special martial law. Oh, yo, they killing me. Why are they giving me half translated stuff here? Anyway, I'm gonna reread this when the official comes out because what the hell? The purging operation under special martial law is proceeding much faster than I expected, but that plays right into my hands. My ability is built on killing targets by combining N and airball, but it is fundamentally unsuited for close quarters combat between non-users. So the airball, is that similar to the move that Victor used at the beginning of the arc? I want to say. Yo, they're killing me, yo. Hunter x Hunter has too many words for y'all to be half translating stuff. If you expand your N range, you'll become almost completely defenseless once someone penetrates it. On top of that, you cannot use Gyo at the same time, which means even a normal handgun could inflict a fatal wound on you. Okay, interesting. How did a person who is not even a Nen user generate this much pressure under these circumstances? Untranslatable noise, that's what this is. Okay, so it's just sound effects at the end of the day. Yeah, because they knew somebody like me was about to get, you know what I mean? But anyway, using Nen while the other guards are on alert, if they make a move, you will effectively be facing death. Okay. The wider your N range, the higher the chance of clashing with other Nen users. If you encounter an automatic offensive ability that reflexively attacks N or Gyo users, or a team of Nen users where one uses N while the other three fire Nen projectiles, your fate will likely be death. Interesting. One of the really cool things about Hunter x Hunter is that it feels like as far as the story keeps going, Togashi is still just adding layers to how these different concepts that he showed us earlier in the manga, in the story, in the anime, can really be utilized and individualized by the person, and in combination, they could really fuck somebody up. But N versus N is going to be interesting to see. It feels like that's exactly what we're about to get with the serial killer guy and the black guy. I'm not sure their names off top, but let's keep it going. Okay. So Kurapika, the Hunter Association member, is only making things more complicated by increasing the number of Nen users among our enemies. It has now become almost impossible to keep her hidden without being discovered by the other guards. Keep who hidden? Even if you only try to sense them, the difference in skill level makes it exceedingly difficult. We will enter as soon as the order is given. Clench. Are you ready? Of course. Okay, and then he puts his hand on his shoulder. Chamashi's ability, Beelzebub, Mouty King, okay, is a manipulation type ability with a semi-coercive nature. You see, this is exactly what I was kind of talking about a second ago. By continuously touching the volunteer for a certain period of time, the user can make the volunteer immune for the same duration that the touch lasted. This is kind of like similar to Melioron, how his ability works. Maybe that is also a semi-coercive manipulation type. Once the immunity period expires, or like part of it at least, once the immunity period expires, the volunteer enters a state of forced Zetsu for a duration equal to 100 times the length of the immunity they received. That's a crazy drawback, in my opinion. As soon as the Zetsu state is lifted, which means that they can't use Nen, they just regular. The volume will receive damage equivalent to 1/3 of the total damage they nullified during the immunity period as a result of the aura's backlash. So it's kind of like if you have a really big gun, you're gonna shoot that shit, but then you're gonna fly back because the recoil is gonna hit you. So that's kind of like he can. It's kind of similar to the Pain Packer in a way, but not completely. This ability cannot block or nullify collaborative joint type attacks. Damn, he just adding mad rules on this. That's how you know this shit is powerful. Using N, I confirmed there is only one person within range, but in the amount of damage I nullify, if the amount of damage I nullify is immense, my death might be inevitable as soon as the immunity ends. High risk, high reward is what I'm hearing. Because yeah, you can block that shit, but if 1/3 of it kills you, a curse is on this baby. Is there a possibility of that as well? Oito asks, Kurapika. Yes. In fact, shortly after we entered this room, I'm glad we're back with my man Kurapika, by the way. Shortly after we entered this room, I felt something like a Nen aura near the prince. My back was turned to him, and it only happened in a fleeting moment, so I can no longer tell what it really was. Okay, so I'm glad that they're addressing this, because this was a lot of people's complaint with the chapter. It was either the last chapter or 2 chapters ago. I think it was 2, where Kurapika explains that this obviously was not the baby, that was there earlier, but, or that was part of the ceremony earlier. But the other problem is that we have that one panel where it's like the dark aura is coming from the crib and whatnot. So I'm glad that they're addressing this. Let's continue. There is no way to know it except from Beyond himself. So is he going to go talk to Beyond or no? But if the conditions to activate that curse are extremely complex and I fail to meet them, I will meet my end. That would be suicide. The most realistic solution is to negotiate with Beyond to find out his conditions. I would love to, I can't wait to see the conversations between these two. I can steal Beyond's ability with my chain and find out its nature. Yes, let's do it. But Kakin will never release him, and Beyond himself has no desire to be freed. Yeah, that's all facts. I can't lie. But I want to see you try and do it anyway. It could be the aura of it. Oh, this is Bill talking now. It could be the aura of an assassin whose identity we don't know yet, or perhaps it was the aura of one of the first prince's soldiers. As for the condition under which the curse activates, Beyond, because I kind of forgot about this, but Bill is working with Beyond. He's on Beyond's team, I'm pretty sure. Because he's remaining in custody until reaching the new continent serves the the new continent serves the interests of both parties. Exactly. Okay, my bad. Regardless, it is highly unlikely he would ever admit that the curse is his doing anyway. Yeah, even though Karapika learned that from Long He, obviously. I think you've already realized that, but there is one condition we know for certain, Bill says. And Karapika is shocked by whatever he said, clearly. Now we're back with Beyond for a second. Do you trust, gasp, that the Hunter Association grants Beyond a pardon? Oh, okay, no, this is what he's saying to him. I would say no, to be honest, because they didn't seem like that's really something they're trying to do. Exactly. If the Hunters Association's custody over him is lifted, he will take the bait. Impossible. This is Chairman Netero's final will. There is no room to even consider that option. Isn't the chairman's wish for us to return from the new continent with a way to counter the disasters? Oh, and I've been waiting for this moment also. I know it's about to build up into something real between Karapika and Bill, because the fact that Bill is not working with Beyond, I guess working with Beyond, part of his team, has always been the elephant in the room in every moment that Karapika and Bill have been working together. And it was going to have to come eventually because Karapika is a freaking Zodiac. Anyway, yeah, isn't the chairman's wish for us to return from the new continent with a way to counter the disasters? If things are arranged properly, both parties might come out as winners. No, we are also bound by the contract signed with us, with the V5, and I cannot risk dragging the entire Hunters Association into this gamble. Above all, we must not forget a fundamental fact. Beyond is willing to sacrifice even his own flesh and blood to achieve his ambition. Look at Bill's face. Bill don't give a fuck. Bill don't care about nothing you saying, Karapika. That's why he won't reveal the curse, as it is the core of his plan. Even if he shows willingness to negotiate, it is highly likely to just be a trap. And that is precisely why we are setting a counter trap for him. Yeah, Bill, I don't know if I'm trusting you. Come on, bro. And I love Bill. I thought Bill was overrated at first for a while, but I mean, we've been rereading the story for how many years now, and freaking Bill is actually one of the most underrated characters in this whole arc. Now he's grown on me a lot. That woman, if we make good use of the ability of the fifth Princess Soldier, it might work, right? For example, we could include a clause regarding her ability within the contract with Beyond in a discreet way, or exploit the penalty for breaching the contract. If we think it through, we are bound to find a suitable way. Bill, aren't you supposed to be on Beyond's side? Exactly. That's what I was just saying. Why go to all this effort then? And Bill's shaking. Why are you shaking, Bill? Frankly, I'm glad you're not on Beyond's side. And Karapika's confused. I'm confused. Sigh of relief for Bill. After everything I've heard about Beyond's actions and what he intends to do from now on, I have no connection to him. nor am I driven by any sense of duty to continue working under his command. And Kurapika's like, really? And I'm kind of like, really? You really seem to be the type of person who, once they set their mind to something, goes through with it until the very end. And strangely enough, this is a trait shared by many villains. Okay, I like that about you. Oh, yeah, I love Bill. But I wouldn't want to hang out with you outside of work. Yo, boy, is Bill funny as shit. It doesn't really sound like I'm being praised. Hunter x Hunter really needs these comedic moments, I can't hold you. My goal has completely changed. It has become solely to protect the queen and the prince. But when that becomes your concern, desires and doubts begin to creep in, no matter how hard you try to resist. It is true that protecting the eighth queen comes first, but I can't help but wonder, isn't there a way to put an end to the succession war itself? As for the restrictions on which the succession war is based, oh my god, look at all this text. I am confident the Hunters Association will support that. None of its members wish to witness this carnage. Those who fear the collapse of these restrictions and the loss of the Guardian Beast's protection are only the current king and the hardliners seeking to inherit his power, meaning Beyond and the front-runner princes, and no one else. He's spitting. He's spitting. I believe the Hunters Association should unite to thwart Beyond's curse, weaken the Kakin regime, and then support the honest princes to be the face of the new system. And if the declared goal is to save the princes who have fallen hostage to the curse, the V5 won't object to that. And even Beyond's release doesn't have to be permanent. We release him now and then arrest him again later on another charge. For now, that's kind of fucked up, Bill. For now, dealing with the curse remains the highest priority, doesn't it? As for Beyond, I know him better than you do, so please take my advice. All right, lay it on us, Bill. He is a highly competent, extremely self-confident man. Well, I'm not gonna say aren't we all, but I kind of feel that. But deep down, he is a child who loves planning and maneuvering games. Therefore, he will accept any challenge directed at him and won't turn down a game of cat and mouse. And I could see that. I could definitely see that. That seems like that could be a fatal flaw for Beyond. His ambition and his will for competition is bar none on the same level as freaking what's my man? Netero. Duh. He's on the screen right now. But anyway, Beyond's character is amazing. Bill is, like I said, he might be the most underrated character in this arc. Let me finish. As for the curse, it is the core of his plan, which is precisely why he will talk about it. In fact, he wants to. He is highly self-confident, and that confidence is backed by a tight, incredibly clever plan. And that is exactly why the entire Hunter Association must put an end to the succession war. And then Oito's like, the baby's sleeping. And Bill and Kurapika look over. The second major problem, she says, I deeply apologize. I have crossed my boundaries. Is she? Oh, okay. Never mind. As for the second problem, it is that your majesty does not know the whereabouts of the 14th prince. I do not know what kind of agreement was made when the two children were switched, but you thought it was best for the prince's safety not to know his whereabouts. Isn't that right? Yes, which means you have absolutely no idea where the prince is. And this means we cannot rule out the possibility that the real 14th prince is on board this ship. Dun, 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 dun. I think we all kind of thought that. But anyway, she's surprised. Impossible. I don't think that's likely. She don't be knowing nothing, yo. But the problem is, how will you prove that to the army? At the very least, I don't think the first prince's followers have ruled this out, and they may have already begun their own search. And she's thinking to herself, she's like, oh damn, this nigga probably right. That's exactly how she's looking. With the repeated murders in the lower decks, a thorough inspection campaign has begun, and they must be re-verifying the data and IDS of all passengers during it, Bill says. Yes, and I asked Peyote to match the data of all passengers under 2 years old, but and receiving no responses so far. Anyway, receiving no responses so far means there is no one in the official records who fits these specifications. God damn, it's a lot of words. We might have to raise the age limit slightly, then search again. Impossible, she says. Hey, Karapika, couldn't you have chosen an easier way to say that? Karapika does not have a way with words. He does, but sometimes he's just very, he just comes out with it. Hiding the truth won't change anything. In fact, having suspicions remain might sometimes be in our favor. Having suspicions remain might sometimes be in our favor. Okay. What? Queen Oito says. He says, since the baby swap was carried out according to a planned scheme, the army will act keeping in mind the worst and most damaging possibilities to its interests. In this case, the assumed possibility will be that the 14th prince still holds the right of participation and is located somewhere inside the ship. And until this possibility is completely ruled out, he will remain within the scope of the strategic calculations. As for what we can consider a final exclusion, the most we can hope for is one of two things. First, that the organizers of the succession war officially announce the non-participation of the 14th prince. Second, to prove the existence of the 14th prince outside the ship, as simply not finding him inside is not proof that he is outside, which, for the prince's sake, I'm kind of hoping he is on the ship, just because, I mean, we saw what happens at Cacho, right? So wouldn't that, auto the black wavy hands, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, specifically, in the second case, we must also prove that anyone leaving the ship during the succession war leads to their loss of the right to participate, or at least to the loss of some. Participating in the ceremony is the condition that grants the right to participate in the succession war, and it is difficult to prove that the one who participated in the ship ceremony is your nephew, and not the real prince. And then you won't be able to refute the suspicion that the real prince participated in the ceremony first, then swapped places with your nephew, and left the ship somehow. As long as this doubt remains, the factors of the higher ranking princes will act on the basis that the 14th prince is inside the ship. Even if he is found outside the ship, we would still have to prove that. The prince who holds the rights of participation loses the right as soon as he leaves the ship. In other words, as long as they haven't found my daughter, they won't acknowledge that she isn't participating in the succession war. Is that what you mean? That's correct. The suspicions of the higher ranking princes who are taking the succession war seriously will not vanish. In other words, they will be forced to keep searching for him until they find him. On top of that, which it's actually a girl, so this should be saying her, I believe. On top of that, in order to be the last ones remaining alive, they must determine whether the 14th prince holds the right to participate or not. In other words, as long as the 14th prince is not on this ship, she is completely safe. The leading princes won't be able to find her or even determine if she has the right to participate in the succession war in the first place. Since his status would remain in a gray area, she would automatically drop down the target list in the succession war. But what if she is among the targets of Beyond's curse? If she is off the ship and her location is unknown, then Shimono jumps in, then we won't be able to do anything. Yes, we have two ways to solve this problem. All right, what we got, Kurapika? The first way is to uncover the truth of Beyond's curse and find out whether the 14th prince is one of its targets or not. If he is indeed a target of the curse, then we must identify Beyond's real child, who represents the sacrifice, and then lift the curse as quickly as possible. Okay, so there must be an exorcist on the ship. There must be Probably multiple, to be quite honest. There's a ton of people on the ship, and people are just getting net abilities now, thanks to Morena. So we'll have to see, but it seems like Morena's group was also trying to see if there was a nun exorcist, and now we have Karapika. So it's gonna be who's gonna find him first. Like we don't got so much other stuff already going on. Anyway, as for the second way, it is to find the location of the 14th prince, and now we're gonna have this as well. We're gonna have a scavenger hunt for a baby. Regarding the succession war, her presence off the ship, everyone's ignorance of her whereabouts gives her a huge advantage. As for the curse, it is quite the opposite. If she is a target of the curse, we must find her as quickly as possible, and then seek the guidance of a skilled exorcist. I could write the story, damn near, to remove the nun. In terms of neutralizing the curse, there is only one fundamental problem. But since the methods of dealing with them are completely different, I have divided it into two issues. Either we eradicate the source of the curse, or we remove the curse from the target itself. There is no third option. Damn, just no third option? We can't brainstorm a little? In our current situation, we have neither the manpower nor the time to try and address both matters at once. Therefore, I believe we must focus on addressing the problem using the first issue, which means we're not searching for your daughter right now. By doing so, we will also be in alignment with executing the agreement made with one of the Fifth Prince's private guards. But we too must act with the worst case scenario in mind, so we can prevent the worst from happening. To solve the problem using the second issue, we will assume that the 14th prince is the target of the curse, and we will strive to protect her, lift the curse from her. Therefore, I would like to ask the Hunter Association to search for him. Yes, she says, and he looks at her. Finally, I would like to confirm one thing. I know for a fact that your lack of knowledge regarding the prince's whereabouts is certain. But for example, in the event of an emergency and in anticipation of the worst case scenario, have you not designated a specific person or place that can be contacted if needed? And she's terrible. Well, I was about to say she's a terrible liar, but not really. She had him going for a hot minute. But once you catch her in the lie, she has like an immediate tell. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, she's looking like, yeah, I do. What an amazing man, Bill is thinking to himself. Kurapika is not overconfident in his ability, and therefore, even if he gathers several facts, he does not rush to consider the result reached as an absolute truth. He also understands that the queen's ignorance of the matter is her strongest card, even her final decisive card, which is why he remains silent even after we reach this stage. Excuse me. And everything that Bill is saying here is the opposite of what my man that was serial killing at the beginning of the chapter was thinking once he was like, oh, we finally get to kill people. That's way better than having to think. And that guy is food for a guy like Kurapika in the Hunter x Hunter world, because being a thinking man is the best thing that you can be in this series. The worst case scenario for us is that the 14th prince is inside the ship, and that she is the curse, is the target of the curse. It is enough for us to just prove the prince's existence, and then we will be able to get the cooperation of the hunters back home. Won't you tell me? Before I knew about this curse, what was the worst case scenario in your opinion? That a new king is chosen, and then the king's forces find my daughter, and we and all our family members are executed? That was the worst I could imagine. From the case of the 10th prince, we realized that withdrawing from the succession war is a capital crime, punishable by death. Just as Kurapika said, yeah, it's punishable by death, all right. Just as Kurapika said, my confession might also be interpreted as just a lie I made up in order to survive the succession war, and therefore I won't be punished. But the moment it is proven that we do not have the right to participate, we will become criminals guilty of capital offenses. So damned if you do, damned if you don't, kind of. Was our only hope was that the ninth prince would survive and become the king, which is was established last chapter, is still on the table right now. All I can do is cling to the hypothesis of the succession war's constraints and pray that the curse has not affected him or her. And if the members of the Hunter Association are going to protect us, in the association, there are people belonging to different trends and positions, and they are undoubtedly trustworthy. But frankly, I cannot ask you to trust them all. But there is one thing I can say for sure. What you got to say, Queen Oito? Or, oh, okay, what's Karapika got to say? I have companions whom I trust more than I trust myself, and I swear it on my life. Okay, they will absolutely protect the prince. I mean, yeah, he's spitting, because you see how Hanzo turned up when he lost his prince in the middle of the night. He turned up, and I feel like Biscuit would do the same. Gone. What? I feel like Biscuit would do the same. Never mind. Go on, Killer. Oh, snap. Oh, look at them enjoying life, man. I love to see this. Oh my god. Yo, I was not expecting to see these guys here. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Hold on a second. Oh man, it's time. It's time. Yeah. Oops. This should be in the front, right? Ooh, let me move this shit up. Okay. We ain't got time for this, but there it is. All right, let me go back to the other one before I get copyright slammed into the ground. Okay, let's continue. Go on and kill. What more can you ask for? One of my relatives on my mother's side works at a post office in the kingdom of Yamato. I will send him a coded message. We send it there first, and then it is returned to Kakin as address unknown for a fee. And by using this method, it will be sent and delivered to send to the sender's address registered in Yamato without leaving any trace in the shipping records. 49 days remain until the end of the succession war. Are we getting to the end though, is my question? Far away comrades who are still supporting Karapika. Yeah, you're gonna need all that. You're gonna need all that, to be quite honest. Yo, Hunter x Hunter is so good, man. I miss the stories too bad, yo. Definitely let me know your thoughts. Like, subscribe. I'm gonna be doing this every week. It's just fun. And it's fun when we discuss the things that are cool about the story together. So until next time, enjoy your weekend and whatnot. Yada, yada, yada. God bless you all.